House Intelligence Committee now will plan to hold a closed-door hearing next week on the deadly attack on our consulate in Libya. Among those expected to testify, head of the CIA, David Petraeus. Now, Republican Congressman Jason Chaffetz, back home in Utah, a member of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee that had its own hearings just about 2 weeks ago. And welcome back here to America's Newsroom. Catherine Herridge is reporting that the list of suspects after the raid on our consulate in Benghazi that killed our U.S. ambassador has now extended to several dozen people, and many of them with ties into Egypt and Cairo. Well, what more do you know about that, sir?
We do know that there are dozens of suspects. This flies right in the face of what the administration originally told us, that there was just some mob and a video that got out of control. I think what was very clear from the beginning of this attack, that it was very coordinated. There are terrorist activities that were active there in Benghazi in the months leading up to this. And of course, there are more than dozens of suspects. And thanks to Senator Lindsey Graham, we're able to now interview somebody there in Tunisia. But it extends beyond that. You
were just in Tripoli, too, and you did not come back with a favorable review. And you have alleged that the administration is stonewalling. Is that still the case now, or has there been a little give and take on some of the information and questions you have?
Well, hopefully now that we're past the election, the administration will actually do the right thing, because coming up into the election, they did not. I sent the first letter over to Secretary Clinton on September 20th, and they had the gall to actually go to their website and print out pages that you can find on their internet site and pretend that they were somehow complying with that letter. They were not. There are so many documents that we need that are unclassified and classified that they have yet to provide to Congress. They need to do this. They claim to be the most open and transparent administration ever, but they're not doing the basics in sharing with Congress this basic information.
Well, based on what you have learned, why would they wait until after the election?
Because the president's going to have to decide which way he's going to have it, because he's tried to have it both ways, and he has to decide which one he thinks is the truth. And this idea that 60 Minutes released this videotape, the day before the election, it's just appalling what is happening here. The national media has been totally absent on this, except Fox and a couple other news outlets and some decent reporters that have been out there. But the administration itself has got to come clean. What happened before, what happened during the attack, and then they've got to explain how they misled the American people and the world about what really went down in Benghazi.
Next Thursday is when the House holds its hearings. I understand those are open to the public, but on the Senate side, on the same day, those hearings will be closed. But on the House side, you'll have David Petraeus, as I mentioned. You'll have the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. You'll have Matt Olson, Director of National Counters and Terrorism Center. So all three men. Olson, by the way, is the first one from the administration who suggested this was terrorism in the first place. Have you been able to inform or advise your colleagues on this committee next week based on what you have learned so far? And what have you told them about what is key and important about learning now?
Well, Mike Rogers, who's the chairman there of the Intelligence Committee, he and I have met. We have talked about this situation. We have been able to unearth, thanks to some whistleblowers, brave whistleblowers who have provided us some information. It kind of scares me, Bill. I shudder to think, what would happen if we didn't actually press the administration? We'd still be misled at this point. So we do have some core information that's now in the hands of the Intelligence Committee. But I can tell you with Darrell Issa and Trey Gowdy and a host of others there on the Oversight Committee, we are also going to pursue it. So if the administration thinks that because they won an election that this thing's going away, absolutely not. We're going to continue to press on this.
Jason Chaffetz, thank you from Salt Lake today.
Bill.